See the grid lineup now then for the RX Lights final. On the front row, Thomas Bryntesson and Cyril Raymond alongside. Kevin Hansen and Kevin Eriksson. And then on the back row is Wago Syversen and Joachim Hvaal. Very long roll, but great start by Bryntesson. Raymond almost blocked. Hansen gets ahead of the other Kevin Eriksson. Hansen moves across to the inside to guard his line, but it's Bryntesson up into turn one first with Cyril Raymond right behind him. Kevin Hansen covering off Kevin Eriksson on the brakes down into turn two. Good job.
The two Kevins are battling for the lead of the championship in third and fourth, but Bryntesson has been in a class of his own this weekend. He's just looked very neat and tidy. He goes about his business. Has looked pretty unchallenged. Kevin Hansen in third got a good start in that one. He struggled with the start, as he said. It's very uphill here. These are normally aspirators, so not a huge amount of horsepower. They're having to slip the clutch lock to get them off the line, and he's just been struggling. That was his best start of the weekend.
Cyril Raymond in second. You can see Kevin Hansen in third. Kevin Eriksson, who's in fourth place, worth mentioning that he won the Swedish Supercar Championship last weekend. When we spoke to him, he said to me that he keeps thinking there's a problem because basically he's had his power halved from 600 plus horsepower to just over 300 horsepower.
Yeah, he did actually, but he also said that the corner speeds on these feels a fair bit quicker than a supercar. They're a lot lighter, and the lap times are, there's a few seconds in it, but not as much as you'd expect with the horsepower difference.
In the web, we've seen these guys right up there just because of that reason. Bryntesson leading.
Hansen's looking a bit more racy here. He looks like he's just been struggling a little bit. We spoke to him last night. He said he wasn't sure where they're at with the car setup. He was probably going to go back to basics a little bit from the start of the year. He's normally the pace setter or right up there. He just said he's just struggling a little bit. He didn't quite know what.
How do you do this? So we've mentioned it again in the previous semi-final, losing away with the settings that Joachim Stocks have done the same thing. You start the year with a great car, you tweak little bits and you like it and you like it and you like it, and then suddenly you're 5 or 6 changes away from that base setup and the car stops working.
There's so many things you can change, and it is very easy to do because you can't just stand still. You can't go, right, we're going to leave the car exactly the same as it was at the start of the season. You look at Formula 1, the development racing that through the season, obviously it's not quite as extreme as that, but the same principles apply. You need to keep moving things forward. You need to try and keep improving the car, getting more speed from it. And from time to time, you'll go the wrong way, or you make a couple of wrong changes, which then open up a little can of worms elsewhere with the car setup. So it's easy to do, but sometimes you need to take a step back, go back to basics, go back to what works, and then almost start again with that.
Bryntesson leading here. This would be his third win in a row. He won in Sweden and he won in Norway. So he's come into this and he's really showing Hansen and Eriksson. We know really, and Eriksson, as I say, that goes to the joke lab. We know those two guys are the benchmark in this class, but Bryntesson's come in and kind of re-benchmarked it. We know that Hansen and Eriksson will both love to move on to supercars, but you can't just do that. It's big budget, big difference.
Absolutely. So Bryntesson, he just looks quick. I've been away for a couple of rounds, so I haven't really seen much of him. So who's this guy? Because he looks very tasty, looks neat and tidy, just keeps the car going forward all the time. These cars with the lower horsepower, you can't afford to have big power slides. You need to keep momentum and drive them much more neat and tidy.
Differences as well, of course, we've got several feeder classes. RX Lights is four-wheel drive, normally aspirate about half the power of a supercar. We've got the rear-wheel drive touring cars, a great performance from Frederick Souston in that, coming into a supercar. You see people like Backward and Nittish come to Super 1600. It seems that any of these classes, as we see Hansen and Raymond go to the joke lab, Bryntesson still the joker, where are they going to feed back in? They're both going to get past and they're carrying more speed, they do. So Kevin Eriksson stuck up behind Hvaal as well. So Hvaal holding Kevin Eriksson up. Kevin Eriksson, I bet, wishing he was in the supercar now, but getting back to it, they all seem to be good feeder classes, but particularly this one having to carry that momentum too.
Absolutely, and a car's a car at the end of the day. If you can drive, yes, it's going to be different techniques and different driving styles, but if you can drive, you can drive, and we've seen that, as you say, with Backward, and Nick just coming up from Super 600 taking wins in the first year in supercars. It's not by fluke, it's very competitive, but if you learn your trade, if you learn the whole Rallycross scene, pretty much whatever the car, if you're a quick driver, you know the sport, you should be able to be competitive.
Bryntesson looking very, very strong. He's a clear leader here, comes around the joke lap. Cyril Raymond is still in second place, but Bryntesson out in front, and now he's going to carry that speed all the way down the straight. Cyril Raymond in second, backed by the French Federation. Of course, they've had enormous success backing people like Sébastien Loeb and Sébastien Ogier in World Rally. Great to see them taking young drivers on board, trying to move them forward. Raymond doing a nice job here in second place. Hansen's going to come through for a podium. Hansen at the minute is leading the championship from Kevin Eriksson, only by 9 Suez. From the start, that tricky uphill start with the normally aspirated engines. But Bryntesson, no one got near him, Andrew.
Absolutely not. He just looks so smooth, doesn't he? He's obviously very confident. His third straight win, so that's going to give him even more of a confidence boost going to the next event, which his competitors won't be too keen on. You can see there the cars look just slight oversteer. Want to keep the momentum up, and he did that perfectly in that race.
Thomas Bryntesson takes the win from Cyril Raymond, Hansen and Kevin Eriksson, followed by Joachim Hvaal and Simon Wago Syversen.